Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope everything on your self-development journey is going well. Today I wanted to cover the importance of authenticity, how to become your authentic self if you don't know who you are, the importance of it itself, and what happens when you aren't authentic, and how your life starts to take a pretty major downturn in not just one area, but almost all of them, if not all of them. So, to start off, the simple way that I can put it is when you're talking to new people, or you just met someone, or you're with your friends, be authentic, be yourself. And I'm sure you've heard it a billion times, just be yourself. And you might be asking yourself, well, I don't know who I am. And if you don't know who you are, then obviously the advice of be yourself goes out the door, because you can't be yourself if you don't know who you are, right? So one of the first steps that we can take to figure out who we are, as simple as this may sound, although it goes deep, is to start to spend time with ourselves, right? We live in an age of distraction, of hedonism, of chasing pleasure, and we do this so much, especially through our phones and social media and other areas of life as well, that we take so much time away from this reality. For example, I'm here standing in nature right now. I could be sitting in my room watching, videos, which you might be doing right now, but in this case, the video is a productive one. But instead, I'm out here. And to be honest, I haven't been to this park in 6 months. Last time I was here, it was summer. And, now it's a lot cloudier and grayer. But anyway, to this point, to find yourself further, not only do we have to spend time with ourselves, but especially in nature, because I find that nature, it grounds us, and it just opens up the energy field. Like, think about this. Now, the concept of, spirituality and energies moving around, you don't even have to be into that to understand this, right? You've probably already learned in school, energy is everywhere, energy can't be destroyed, it can only be distributed and changed into different forms, etc., right? So, imagine you're sitting let's say you're sitting inside, you're sitting in a car, you're sitting in a classroom, you're sitting in your room, you're sitting in any place that's a building and you have walls surrounding you, right? The energy is constricted, right? There's the walls preventing some form of energy from getting in. Not that energy can't pass through it, but it's a little bit restricted. There's a physical barrier, right? And if you're outside here in nature, whether you believe space exists or not or whatever, or this is a simulation, it doesn't really matter. We're out here, and when I look around, I see the clouds, I see the sky, and the sky's the limit, right? You've heard that before, the sky's the limit. There's no energy being constricted here. It's flowing through me and out of me. It's flowing through the trees, it's flowing through that bench over there, these birds. It's everywhere, and it's not constricted. Now, before I came here today, I realized that my body needed to start to adjust to be outside. I woke up this morning. For the first around 2 hours, I showered, got ready, but I didn't really do much. I didn't really do many productive things, or really much of anything, right? And I felt sluggish. My body, I felt it in my body. You could say I felt it in my heart and my soul. And, that feeling of when you're not doing anything, you just feel bleh, right? That's how I felt. And then I drove here, I stepped out of my car, and I walked for 2 minutes, and then I stopped. And I thought to myself, this is so much different, right? I feel the energy flowing through me when I breathe, when I walk. I could feel it moving throughout my core and my stomach, right? And the point is, when you become more in tune with yourself by spending more time in nature, it's a pretty natural way to have it flow easily. You get to know yourself more. Now, going back to the more mental things that you can do, if we spend time with ourselves and we actually analyze ourselves, we do introspection, which is introspection, if you don't know what it means, is basically just analyzing yourself, right? So if we spend time doing that, right, we have thoughts that come in every day. If we sit there and we think, okay, this is the thought that's coming in right now, it's evoking this emotion with me, okay, it's anger, it's sadness, it's calmness, it's happiness, it's contentment. Think about the situation that you're thinking about, the emotion that comes with it, and ask yourself, okay, why am I feeling this way? It's like, okay, well, I have some anger issues I need to work on, or when someone does this, it really ticks me off. you start to see these situations from a more third-person perspective. And once you start to do this, you start to realize and not identify with it anymore, right? We have this kind of illusion that we are limited to just what our thoughts are, and our thoughts are us. Our thoughts are a part of us here and our experience flowing within and out of us, but they aren't us, right? I like to do the thought experiment of, okay, you have your thoughts, you also have that voice in your head, which is usually, it could be in someone else's voice or your own voice, right? But then you just think about that, okay, well, I'm hearing my own voice in my head, but my lips aren't moving and it's in my voice. How is that even happening, right? So that's just a magical thing in itself. And then you think about, okay, well, I'm having the thoughts, I'm talking to myself in my voice, and I'm also aware that I'm talking to myself in this voice, and I'm also aware of the thoughts. So what if you could say purely or more a part of just that awareness? You're experiencing all of this, right? That's in large part where we are. And the step to finding out who we are lies a lot deeper in spiritual terms than just our personality or the things we like or don't like. But if we're bringing it back away from the spiritual stuff, if we can spend time with ourselves and find things that we like to do, because some, like, people might ask you, hey, John, whatever your name is, what do you like to do? And you go, I don't know, right? A lot of us don't even know what we like. And so, yes, if we don't know what we like, we can't authentically express ourselves. So spend time with yourself. Try new things, as simple as it sounds, right? Pick up a new instrument, pick up a new hobby, start to read, start to research this idea, look at these research studies, follow this creator and find out how they got to that point, if it's a point that you want to be at, and study them and see what you can do as well to get to that position. You want to make a certain amount of money, okay, how am I going to get there? What do I have to do? Is there a certain business I need to start that I'm passionate about? Is it in a certain job? Is it talking to this person to get this information? You figure this stuff out along the way, right? But the first step is just finding out who you are. Start new things, because to have new experiences means to then have new thoughts, new emotions, new ideas, right? And because we so often do the same things every day and we expect something different to happen. It's like our life sucks. We're working a job we don't like. We're doing a certain school avenue that we don't enjoy. Whatever we're doing to spend our time, we're spending our time doing things we don't enjoy, and we're wondering why we aren't happy. If we can break that little thought to action barrier of actually, stepping outside of your house or your apartment or wherever you're staying to go and meet someone new or go to that place you've always wanted to go, but you're just like, oh, today's not the day, and you've been telling yourself that for the past 5 years. We start to realize, once we have these new experiences, and it could be such a slight experience, right, of just walking in a park and you see someone and you walk past them and there's no one else in the park, and you talk to them, you say, hey, how you doing? Hey, what brings you out here today, right? You just have a normal conversation, you get to know a little bit about them. And also, in talking to other people, another strategy you can do is learn about other people, be genuinely interested in what their lives are like, and you learn more about you, right? Because maybe you are uncertain of who exactly you are. You might have a conversation with someone that you meet, and they do this for work, or they have this idea about this concept, or they've been studying this and they share it, or whatever the case is, and you learn something, right? Go into every single situation, every single conversation, assuming that the other person knows something that you don't, because 100% of the time, it is true. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. Nobody in this world knows everything. We all have different information to share with one another. And if we can open up our ears and listen, well, then they might tell you something about this concept, and you might be like, oh, I've never heard that before, but I find that really interesting. And then you go home that day, you research it a little bit, and then it's like, maybe that turns into your career. Maybe it turns into a side hustle. Maybe it turns into a new hobby, right? If we talk to new people, we spend time alone with ourselves and analyzing our thoughts, we can get a grasp on what the things are that we like, and then once we know what we like, we then also in turn sometimes can get from that what we don't like. And then there's also cases where you have to try things in order to know that you don't like it. There's a lot of times where we can say, oh, well, I wouldn't like golfing, or I wouldn't like this, but you never tried it, right? And so our opinions of that aren't truly valid because we haven't actually tried it. But if you try it, then you're like, oh, I don't like it. Okay, there's the credit to that. But the point is, we're only here for a certain period of time, usually not that long. I mean, let's say we live till we're 80. I'm 20 years old right now. That means I'm a quarter through my life. It's not that much time. And we all heard when we were younger, enjoy this time. You know, it goes fast. And we're like, oh yeah, whatever. Now in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or however old you are, you now can understand this concept and be like, oh, yeah, that's what they were talking about. This is what they were talking about, right? But the point is, no matter, it's never too late. I like to think about these concepts that I'm talking about a lot and do a lot of inner work. And I'm 20, and I started all this stuff when I was 16. That's when the journey began for me. And a lot of people who are older than me that I connect with, you know, will say things like, you know, you're so wise for your age, or, you know, you're very intelligent. When I was your age, I wasn't like this. And I take it as a compliment. Like, I really do appreciate it. But I also think about how, you know, it's for anybody of any age. Like, let's say you're 80 and you're now getting on the, oh, well, I should probably start analyzing. It's not too late. Like, yes, there's certain experiences that you're not going to be able to have when you're 80 than you are when you're younger. So if you're seeing this and you're of the younger age, take some of this information and apply it to your life and see how it changes, because we're all chasing these short-term pleasures, right, that we hope that will make us happy, but they never do, right? And guys, girls, people will tell you all the time, once they get a little bit older, like, yeah, I probably should have skipped the party phase, or I probably should have skipped out, you know, doing that, or spending all my time drinking, whatever it is, right? And it's such a weird, hard phenomenon to get behind and to quit these things because everyone else is doing it around this age group. But I will tell you that although sometimes it is a little bit lonely, because sometimes you can't fully connect with people who are about that lifestyle, obviously, because something like introspection, analyzing your life, is something a lot of people don't do. Typically, if you're partying 4 times a week and drinking, you're probably not doing this, although I'm not saying you can't or you aren't, but I'm saying most people aren't. So I'll say it's a little bit lonely for me sometimes. You know, I meet tons of people through podcasting, and I meet tons of great people in real life too, and this, you know, continues to happen, and the connections continue to advance. I will say, when you become your authentic self, you start to repel certain people that aren't right for you. And also, sometimes it's very difficult to discern, okay, is this person right for me in a romantic partnership, or is this person a good friend, or do we have aligned values? Sometimes it's difficult to figure out if you don't know who you are, but if you can start to figure out who you are and then authentically express yourself, then you root out the people that aren't right for you, and you so easily see the people that are right for you. And so, you know, there's times where, you know, I'll shake a person's hand, the first few words that come out of their mouth, I'll feel some sort of energy, right? Something about this guy, something about this person, right? There might be something here, right? And most of the time when that feeling occurs, there is something, right? Because I know who I am to a degree, right? I don't know everything about myself, I suppose you could say, but I generally know what the type of conversations I like to have, the type of concepts I like to dive into. And when you meet somebody who's about that, the energy kind of picks up, right? And then when it doesn't, then the conversation slows down, it dies, you're sitting there awkwardly wondering what to say next. And this isn't a bad thing. This doesn't mean the other person's bad and you're better. It just means that you're different, right? Every single human being is different, even if you do have aligned values. But the point is, when we know who we are, we attract the people that are right for us, right? And the other people that we meet that aren't aligned with us, we pick up on that.